I spent 2023 failing at my goals, and now I'm left starting over in 2024. I think the biggest reason I didn't succeed at my 2023 goals wasn't because of the preparation or the effort I was putting into setting up what I needed to do. It was just that I wasn't literally doing it. My problem wasn't with preparation or planning, it was with discipline. It's easy when we talk about discipline to sit here and think, well, I was just being lazy, I just wasn't working hard enough, I just wasn't being disciplined enough, but I don't think that's really the full picture. Discipline is more than just willpower and work ethic. A lot goes into whether or not we are able to create and maintain discipline in our everyday lives. So in this video, I want to break down the idea of discipline a little more so that we can start using it to achieve our goals and not use it to shame ourselves for not getting something done. By the end of this video, we will all have some practical tips for implementing discipline in our daily lives starting right away. Okay, a little bit of science before we begin. Discipline is not an inherent trait that some people have and some don't. It is a skill and it can be learned. Basically, each time you choose the right thing over the easy thing, or the thing that's gonna get you closer towards your goals rather than the thing that's distracting or tempting you, a bunch of activity actually flares up in your prefrontal cortex. So your brain is actually flexing a muscle in order to enact that willpower. The good news is that if discipline is a muscle, it of course means we can train it. Of course, when muscles are overworked, they do get tired. So one half of this video is gonna be about training the muscle, and one half is gonna be about making it easy so that that workout is not quite as hard. I talk all the time on this channel about using an expert as a way to make things easier, because it means that you don't have to spend the mental bandwidth planning, researching, and doing all of the things that make goals hard all by yourself. One of the ways I do this in my daily life is for my fitness goals. I have a goal to work out twice a week, and I could not do that without my dedicated fitness coach, which I have through today's partner, Copilot. Copilot gives you the unique opportunity to get a custom-tailored fitness program designed just for you. Through the Copilot app, you get step-by-step workouts, a dedicated fitness coach, and progress tracking. And upon signing up to Copilot, you'll have the opportunity to talk to a certified fitness coach who will take the time to get to know you and discuss your goals, experience, and any physical limitations you might have. Then they'll design a plan to help you succeed. No matter your schedule, training priorities, or the equipment you have available, your Copilot coach will design you a unique training program to drive sustainable and obtainable results. I have been using Copilot for years now, and what I love about it is the flexibility and ease of use. I can get a workout in wherever and whenever I want at my pace and according to my goals. Each week, my coach Chris creates a workout plan for me based on my needs, which were mental health, feeling stronger, and fitting workouts in around my hectic and always changing schedule. She's also always available by video or by text to answer my questions, provide encouragement, and give me feedback on my form. And the convenience of having someone like that right in my pocket for a fraction of the cost of in-person training is so awesome. Since I started Copilot, I've not only been able to be more consistent with my workouts, but I've also seen a lot of growth along the way, which is pretty exciting. I feel stronger, more disciplined, more focused, and it makes me really proud of myself because since I started, I've done a whole 116 workouts, which feels pretty good for someone who is very bad at making time to work out. And the app is super easy to use. I can log all of my sets and reps so that I can review it each week to track progress on my workouts. With Copilot, you'll learn what you can do today to build long-term changes so that you can feel stronger, healthier, and more confident. If you are also prioritizing your well-being this year, I encourage you to grab a fitness coach to help you on your journey through Copilot. Click the link in my description below or go to the URL go.mycopilot.com/Rachel to get a 14-day free trial and 20% off your first month of personalized fitness if you sign up before February 1st. Thanks again to Copilot for partnering on today's video, and let's get back to talking about ways to be disciplined. So as you heard, one of the things that my Copilot trainer does for me is that she sets me a workout plan, which brings me to my next point for making it easy on yourself to be disciplined is to make a plan or get a plan if you are using the expert help that I recommended in step 1. But either way, once you have a plan, the easiest thing to do is to just follow that plan. I like to use planners like this to lay out my like weekly plans and daily plans and monthly plans and things like that. So if you are using a planner, you can very easily just like map out item by item, day by day, what you are doing in order to build discipline so that you don't even have to think about it in the morning. You can just come to your planner and see, okay, on Monday, I have to do XYZ thing. I'm going to get those things done. It's already mapped out for you. You don't have to think, which is awesome. I have so many other videos on my channel about planning and about prepping and about putting together projects. So I will leave some of those up in the cards and down below in the description. But the important thing is to just define the who, what, where, when, why of the hard things that you are trying to do in your life so that when it comes time to do them, you have something to fall back on and you don't have to think up each new step every single time. I also really like a blank notebook for this. This is just a blank like term notebook. I will leave it in the description box down below. But if you don't like the idea of mapping it out day by day, step by step on a planner, if that feels too restricted for you, you can also put it into a blank notebook and just sort of like map it out on a blank sheet of paper and then have that to guide you. And of course, all of this can be done in a digital planner or digital notebook as well. It's not really important where you put the plan so long as you put it somewhere where you will use it and your brain will go back to it and be able to like rely on that place as the holder of your plan and the instruction manual that you're setting up for future you. I will also say, no matter how you're setting up your plan, you want a contingency plan for when things get hard. You will not always be in the perfect conditions to achieve your goal. So for example, if my goal is to work out 3 times a week, right? And it's July and my goal is to work out 3 times a week. I know that I'm going on a vacation in the middle of July. How am I going to get those workouts in, right? This is a pretty good example of when I need a contingency plan to still get my goal accomplished. Because your discipline, trust me, if you have a vacation and you don't prep for it, your discipline, your willpower to achieve the goal that you wanted to achieve or do the hard thing that you wanted to do, it's just going to be completely gone because you're not prepared and you're trying to deal with a whole other different set of circumstances. That's true for vacations, that's true for things that come up, but it's also very true for when life just gets hard. So if it's July, I have a vacation coming up here, but I get sick the week before that, what am I going to do? So I have a contingency plan with my goals for when I'm doing things like vacationing, when I'm doing things like working from home versus working in the office. You know, what does my workout plan look like on those different days? What does my meal plan look like? So I can keep up with my goals and make it as easy as possible to accomplish them on those harder days or those more confusing days. What I want to do at that point is just have a plan for every single variation that could go wrong. And like I said, once you set that up in the beginning, whether it's in a totally blank notebook or a more pre-planned, fleshed out planner, you will be able to rely on that when things get hard and you will know what to do. Think of it as a gift to your future self. And the last thing that you want to do to make it easy is eliminate distractions. If this one seems not so easy to you, trust me, you are not alone. I have such a hard time putting away my phone or turning off the television or otherwise just getting myself into a distraction-free zone. But it is super important for making focused, disciplined work easy. To eliminate distractions, you want to use your environment to your advantage. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about using environment design to make your bad habits harder to achieve. You want to add friction into your bad habits so that they are harder to do and the things you actually want to do are easier to do by default. For example, this might mean putting your unhealthy snacks on a high shelf that's way out of reach unless you get your step stool. Adding friction like this is going to make eating those unhealthy snacks a lot harder, whereas the nice healthy snacks that you've prepared for yourself are on the eye level row in your fridge. Now let's go talk about training the muscle. So now that we know how to make discipline easier, we are going to begin to train the muscle of discipline. So to train the muscle, you are going to be doing a few things that can really help you out, but are not going to necessarily be easy, but they can really help you out and will really be a game changer for your discipline. The first one is to embrace discomfort. It's no secret that you're going to have to embrace some discomfort in order to do hard things. We sometimes perceive discomfort as pain, but it's actually not just pain. We experience discomfort when we experience something unfamiliar, whereas pain is pretty straightforward and something hurts. Something being unfamiliar can actually be really scary. It can be frightening. So discomfort is when you're frightened, when something is unfamiliar. Obviously, if you're in pain, if you're like touching a burning stove, that's a form of discomfort, but it's really this stuff up here that I think keeps most of us from achieving our goals. For example, when I started working out, I never wanted to do cardio. I hated the boredom that came along with being on the treadmill or the elliptical, and I hated it because I was not used to being bored. We live in in a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, go type of internet environment. So when I was doing something that caused me to experience boredom, that felt frightening to me because my brain wasn't immediately being turned on by running on the elliptical or doing something like that. Obviously, there are ways that you can practically change this. So sometimes if I just need to take a walk on the treadmill, I put on a TV show that stops me from being bored. But I really think that the best way to get over discomfort is to familiarize yourself with the scary thing. So get comfortable in your scary thing. It's not scary once it's known. Once it's known, it becomes comfortable. And it's easy to do comfortable things. It's hard to do uncomfortable things. For me, in terms of running on the treadmill, this was just about practice. So I started out with sessions where I would run or walk on the treadmill or elliptical for 5 minutes and then worked my way up to being able to do it for up to 30 minutes. And then it became a much more comfortable experience. My body started to crave it more and more because I knew that that boredom was not ultimately all that unknown to me anymore. It was not the end of the world if I was not really entertained for a few minutes at a time. Don't get me wrong, boredom is still uncomfortable and I still do all sorts of things like listen to music or podcasts or put on a TV show if I'm running on especially a stationary machine. But the boredom is not keeping me from finishing my workout anymore because I'm not afraid of it. So those things that you feel like are huge hurdles now in the way of your success will seem like tiny little molehills once you exercise your discipline muscle enough by embracing the discomfort you feel. One important thing about being uncomfortable is about understanding where the urges to take the easy way out or distract yourself actually come from. When you feel that urge to do the easy thing over the hard thing, what you need to do is slow down, listen to what your body is telling you, analyze that response, and then choose a different solution. So for example, if my goal is to eat healthy, but I am really craving a piece of chocolate cake, I need to slow down and ask myself, okay, what is my body telling me about that response? Do I want the chocolate cake because I'm actually craving sugar? In that case, I can super easily replace eating that chocolate cake with eating a banana, which has a lot of natural sugars and is much better for you. So maybe your body is telling you that you want some sugar and you can easily replace that with a piece of sugar that is more helpful to your goals of eating healthier. But maybe what your body is telling you when you're reaching for that chocolate cake is actually that you are feeling sad and lonely and you want to comfort eat. You still need to be able to listen to your body and think about what it's telling you and say, okay, I'm feeling sad and lonely, and what my body is telling me is that eating this piece of chocolate cake will make me feel a little bit more comforted because that's my coping mechanism. Now, stuff like feeling the big sad and reaching for a piece of chocolate cake is not necessarily going to be solved by a simple 1 in, 1 out substitution with a banana. This is where you may have to do some deeper work like journaling or working with a therapist or somebody you really trust to talk out your feelings about what is going on here and work out alternate solutions. But this is all part of training the muscle of your discipline. It's about understanding your brain and listening to your body when those urges come on to distract yourself or tempt you away from what your goals are. Okay, now that we know and understand our urges, let's work on training our focus. Another great way to train your discipline is to just train your focus. So you can't have discipline without being focused, but that doesn't mean you have to be like ultra focused or ultra disciplined all the time. You want to work your way up. So to train your focus, a really easy thing you can do is utilizing the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique goes like this. You set a 25-minute timer and you work until the timer is done. Once you hear it beep, then you can take a 5-minute rest. So you're working with no distractions for 25 minutes, then you're taking a 5-minute rest. And you repeat this for 4 times. And then once you do 25-minute increments for 4 times, then you take a longer rest. You can take a 15-minute rest. You can take up to a 30-minute rest. Either way, it's 4 25-minute sessions of really deep, focused work with little rests in between. I like the Pomodoro technique because it's very flexible. You can do them for 10 minutes and then give yourself a 5-minute break, or you can go up to 50 minutes and then give yourself a 10-minute break at the end of 50 minutes or a 20-minute break at the end of 50 minutes. It's just about your personal levels of focus and what works for your brain. So if you feel really lost as far as how to begin, I recommend trying the original 25-minute Pomodoro with 5-minute breaks and then do 4
more of those and give yourself a longer break. But if you find that that's too hard, it's completely okay to just work for 15 minutes with no distractions and then give yourself a 5-minute break. I have even seen people, especially people with ADHD, really manipulate this technique to their advantage. So if they're feeling really hyperfixated, you maybe have a longer Pomodoro and then you give yourself a nice long break to rest so that your brain gets enough stimuli in between hyper-focused tasks and doesn't get too overwhelmed with just doing one thing on repeat for 8 hours. When I was doing Pomodoro techniques a lot, what I would do is I started with 25-minute ones and I worked my way up. So I started doing 30-minute ones with then a 5-minute break all the way up to 50-minute Pomodoros. And after a 50-minute Pomodoro, I would give myself a 10-minute break. And I just worked up to that very naturally. So I started at 25, I moved to 30, I moved to 40, all the way up to 50 with then longer breaks in between to compensate for the extra time. And you really don't want to forget this extra rest time because, like I said, discipline is a muscle and it does need to rest. So if you just keep working straight through, your brain is going to get fatigued a lot faster than if you respected those rests that are already built into the Pomodoro technique. But trust me, enough of these focused work blocks, even though 25 minutes may not seem like a long time, is going to really help train your focus and thus train your discipline muscle.
And lastly, if you want to be disciplined, make sure you are taking care of your basic needs first. There is no chance you're going to have the energy to be very disciplined and focused if you are hungry, angry, tired, upset, anxious, or under stress in any way. So get a full night's rest, eat a good meal, and then start to use that all valuable brain power towards the most important things once those basic needs are met. Now, if you want to know more about the planning side of things when it comes to your goals, check out my video on making New Year's resolutions that will actually stick right here on the screen next to my head. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, for being subscribed, for being awesome. I love you. I hope you have an amazing 2024, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.